Alright guys, welcome back into another PGA DFS video. Alright, this week we finally have a full tournament field event, so I'm pretty excited about that. But the only thing about this week is it's right before a major. And typically when we have an event right before a major, we typically don't like to go hard on that, which kind of sucks because we've had two non-full tournament field events in a row. Now we finally get one. I was pretty excited, and we can't really go hard on it because, as you guys know, the event before and the event after a major are a little bit more volatile. So, typically you can't really go as hard on it. And, this week is going to be more of the same, where DraftKings has done an amazing job of pricing. Not going to lie, it's a really difficult week on DraftKings this week. Yahoo did a pretty good job as well. I have to check FanDuel still. But let's get into it. We'll do the course breakdown, and then I had the video player pool is kind of long, and then we'll get into the course section for you guys. So let's get right into it. All right, so some of the course history we don't have because it's only been played at this course twice. 2012 and 2006 were the only times this event, the Canadian Open, has been played at this course. And there's not that many stats that stood out, except for maybe strokes gained putting. So we will be looking at that a little bit. But instead of having course history, we're just going to give you guys the course fits. And how we kind of came up with that was a bunch of stats. We always look at total driving and ball striking. Those are going to be some key stats this week. Why? Because the fairways are pretty small. They're about 30 yards wide, and the greens are kind of small as well. So the thing with this course is it's a high risk, high reward course. So there's going to be some shots where the bombers, if they can hit it right, they're going to put themselves into a nice position to go out and score. When it was played here in 2012, the cut line was at even. So that is kind of something to be interesting. We're going to have to look at birdie or better percentage as a result. We're also going to have to look at fairway hit percentage as well. The thing with that, though, is, yes, if you're going to be hitting the fairways, you're going to be in a good spot. But if you don't hit the fairway, we're going to have to look at scrambling. And we kind of need to see what the rough length is like. How much is that going to affect their shots if they don't hit the fairway? Obviously, you want to be in the fairway. This is a course that has shown that you do want to be in the fairway as well. There are a couple of par threes, or three par threes that are over 200 feet or 200 yards. So we'll be looking at 200-yard iron length as well. And we'll also be looking at par 5 scoring slightly. There are only two now, but the thing is, you can easily go out and eagle those holes. So we do want to use that as a stat. You definitely should be getting a birdie on those holes. But that's all I have for you guys for the course breakdown. Let's get into the player pool. All right, so on the high end, you can play Dustin Johnson if you want to. I really don't mind him as an option. He's a great stat fit, but I think I want to roll with Brooks Koepka. Brooks Koepka is statistically one of the best plays this year. He's top 10 plays this year total. So, he's looking great. Total driving, 9th. Ball striking, T2. And then strokes gain. We're going to be looking at strokes gain in general because this is a course where you can kind of make it how you want it to, and we're going to be looking at that. He is 10th in that, so obviously Brooks Koepka is in great form. Matt Kuchar, once again, is just a great stat fit once again. He is coming off of that missed cut last week. That's the problem with events right before majors. There's a weird gap right now in PGA DFS, or PGA in general. They had the major, the PGA Championship, and then 3 weeks later, they have the US Open. That's kind of weird. And I don't know what the mindset is for the players yet. I think that's why we're seeing some of these big name guys just not do well on these random weeks. So I think Matt Kuchar will be able to bounce back this week like Ricky did last week. I think it'll be pretty easy for him. This is a course that fits him really well. Same could be said for Webb Simpson, who I'll actually touch on later on in the video. I do like him a lot as an option. This below 10K range is kind of a decent spot for you. I really like Scott Piercy. Again, as you guys know, he's probably been my most or second most played player this year. I really like him as an option this week. He is top 30 in total driving, ball striking, and strokes gained total. He is also a pretty decent putter, top 60 in that. He's 21st in fairways hit, 13th in scrambling, and 13th and birdie or better percentage. So we do like him. Henrik Stenson can be more of the same. 8 straight made cuts in a row. He is top 50 in total driving, ball striking, and strokes gained approach. He is also 7th in fairways hit, 42nd in scrambling. The only problem is he's not the best birdie or better player just yet. Obviously, Henrik Stenson, world-class player. I'm not really too worried about him. Brent Snedeker, he's just been a beast this whole year, pretty much been a cut maker this whole year, 14 out of 16 cuts made. We know Snedeker is a good putter. He is 15th in the putting stat, and he's a guy that can just play the game he wants. He is 26th in strokes gained total. Bubba Watson's also a guy that I do like. He is top 30 in strokes gained, ball striking, and total driving. He's also a guy that can go out and score. He is one of those guys who, he could take advantage of those par fives, maybe an eagle or two. I do see him making the cut, but obviously he's a guy where he does need to hit the fairways to be able to make the cut. He's 142nd in that. Keegan's a guy who let us down, but once again, he's a good stat fit, top 10 in total driving and ball striking. If he can get his putter around, if you can avoid some of those bogeys, I do think he'll have a good week. He is 9th in scrambling, so we do like that. Adam Hadwin, now he struggled the last two RBC Canadian Open events. I'm not really sure why. The 2 years before that, he played pretty well. I do think he'll do well again this week. He's pretty much top 70 or better in all the stats that I'm looking at, whether they are the core stats or the secondary stats I'm looking at. I think he's going to be a good option at this course this week. He is in good form, making 5 straight cuts as well. Daniel Berger is an option that I don't mind. He's 13th in total driving, and the rest of the stats aren't that good, but we know Daniel Berger, he's kind of finding his form that he didn't have earlier on in the season, so his game is starting to come around, so I don't mind him. Ryan Palmer, good option. He did make the cut here in 2012 with the top 20 finish. He is T89 in total driving, T37 in ball striking, and T43 in strokes gained approach. He is also, a decent overall play. He's T66 in putting, 15th in birdie or better percentage. So he is an okay option. He's 36th in scrambling. I don't mind him. The problem is we're paying up for a lot of people that next week they're going to be at least $1,000 cheaper. Alex Noren's a decent option. I don't mind him as an option. I do think he'll be able to make the cut. Brian Harmer's an interesting GPP option because his game starts, it seems like it's coming around, and I don't want to pay this price for Brian Harman, how he's been playing this year. So I'm probably only have him at 10%, but if he goes out and gets a T20, I really wouldn't be surprised. But his stats don't really show that, but the last 2 weeks, if you look at his recent form, he is there with that. So that's kind of what I'm looking at with him. Graham McDowell, he's just been finding a way each and every week to make the cut. I think he's at 12 straight right now. He's one of the best putters in this field this week. He's top 5 putter in the field this week, 7th overall on the tour. So he typically does show up in these RBC Canadian Open events as well, so I do like him. Corey Connors, he is a guy that is from Canada, so you would expect him to show out, and he's a really good stat fit. Once again, Corey Connors is just a great GPP option. I don't think we can play him in cash, though. Nick Watney I like as well. He is kind of a poor man's version of, who was it? Let me pull him up. Of like Adam Hadwin, where their stats are pretty similar. I kind of have a feeling that he's going to go out and have a good week. Matt Every is a guy that really just kept popping, and I was looking at a bunch of stats, and he just kept standing out. Now, he's only made 6 out of 10 cuts this year, which isn't horrible. He actually did play this course in 2012 as well. He made the cut then. I think he's going to be right around that borderline of making the cut. Probably a T50 finish, but I could see him going out and just popping a little bit. He is a good stat fit. He's one of the better ones in the field, but he's going to make for a great GPP option. Kiao Hung Lee. He is not a bad option. He's made 8 straight cuts in a row. He's just been finding ways to make the cut as well. I don't know. I'm just not that confident in him. Harris English is a great GPP option. Top 50 in total driving and ball striking. He also is a guy that's been putting well. 18th in putting. His recent form is decent, so at that price point, I don't mind it. Denny McCarthy is going to make for a great GPP option. He's a pretty good putter as well. He is top 10 in putting. He's also top 30 in par 5 scoring, so we like that as well. The next, going a little bit lower, I do like Brian Gay as an option. Brian Gay is a guy that just hits fairways and makes putts. That's pretty much it. And on this course, if you're hitting the fairways and you're getting on the green, you're going to do well. I think that's going to be the golfer strategy this week, is get the ball onto the green and go from there. And I think Brian Gay is going to be able to do that pretty well this week. As we know, he's one of the best putters in the field. He also did play here in 2012 and made the cut. David Lingmerth is a guy whose game I think is coming around. 3 out of 4 cuts made, including the last 2. For a value option, he's not a horrible option. You know, it was really tough to find good plays this week. The cash lineup, GPP lineups, they're all going to be very interesting this week. I think 4 out of 6 across the cut line this week will cash. This is an okay option. He's top 70 in ball striking, total driving. Don't mind him. Adam Schenk, I do think he'll be able to play well this week. He hasn't really been that good the last few weeks. He's a good ball striker, good total driver, you know, decent strokes gained approach. He's a good putter. This should be a course where he can bounce back and be able to have a good week. Hank Lebioda, he's a good stat fit as well. I don't mind him. At this price point, we could definitely play him. He is 44th in strokes gained tee to green, which is the secondary stat that we're looking at. He's top 50 in fairways hit, in total driving, and ball striking. He is also top 30 in scrambling as well. So I don't mind him, but I also don't mind DJ Trahan. Sorry. He got injured, and he's missed 3 straight cuts. Without that injury, he'd be one of the best stat fits in the field. It's kind of tough to play him. The play that I like the most is actually going to be Nate Lashley. Nate Lashley's just been rocking and rolling. I'll touch on Nate Lashley in a second in the core plays section as well, but he has been making cuts this whole year, 9 out of 11, so he's going to make for a great option. And then just trying to finish out this build that I have pulled up for you. Who should we plug in? Carlos Ortiz, 6'3", can't afford him. He's an okay GPP option. Chase Wright, I don't mind him as well. Those two guys are both good ball strikers and total drivers. It's whether or not their putters are failing them. And, you know, they got to go out and make some birdies this week. Well, you know, you kind of got to see Chase Wright. He's obviously just been horrible. I think I'd rather get Carlos Ortiz in the build. But the guy that I like the most this low is Wes Roach. Now, he is T58th in total driving, T77 in ball striking. He is also, you know, 49th in fairways hit, 32nd in that long iron, 200 or more yards out. He's 79th in scrambling and 56th in par 5 scoring. So if he can take advantage of the spots where his game is strong, I do see him making the cut, and that's all you really want from a value play that low. Also, Seth Rees, not a horrible value option that low. If you want to mix and match value options, studs and duds approach, I don't mind that too much. Hope for 4 out of 6 across the cut line might be a decent strategy. That GPP lineup's going to do all right this week. Let's get into the core plays, though. So I already touched on that. Brooks Koepka is a phenomenal option this week. He's the only player this week where all the core stats that we're looking at, he was top 10 in that. So obviously I like Brooks Koepka this week. He's also second in scrambling, third in birdie or better percentage, third in par 5 scoring, and you know he's just been playing well. So Brooks Koepka should be able to go out and have a good week. The only problem in the past, Brooks Koepka has kind of overlooked these events because the major's right around the corner. So that is our worry with him. I think if I were to pivot down to him, once again, I just pivot down to the next core play here, and I'll pull him up. So Scott Piercy is going to be a great option, I think. You know, former winner at this course the last time it was played here. He's top 30 in total driving, ball striking, strokes gained approach. He is 13th in scrambling, so if he does get in trouble, he'll be able to get out of it. You know, he doesn't really make any bogeys as well. He's just kind of a smart player. 27th in birdie or better percentage. But this is the problem. Scott Piercy is probably going to be like 2,000 less than this next week. And that's kind of just the problem. We're paying up for him this week just because he does have that course history somewhat. He's a great stat fit, and he's in great current form. And we're going to have to pay for it. This week, it's just kind of something you have to do. That's why this week is going to be a little bit more rough, it seems like. Let's get into the next core play. So I do like Webb Simpson as well. Webb Simpson, I think, you know, you can kind of just project him to make the cut. And when he does make the cut, it's pretty much a T30 or better. So we do like that. It seems like a safe and easy play. So I do like him. 5 make cuts in a row. He's a top 20 course fit in the field. Overall, Webb Simpson is just one of those guys who, when you think about players that should do well at this course, he was one of the first names that popped into my head. So I do think he'll do well. 2 pivots from this, from Webb and Scott Piercy, would be Henrik Stenson and Brent Snedeker. I don't mind those options as well, but I do like these two a little bit more. And then lastly, Nate Lashley. Nate Lashley, let's get into the stats a little bit more. I kind of brushed over them earlier. So he isn't the best total driver. T29 in the field there, but if he needs to club down, this is a smaller course. So if he needs to go down, he is 50th in fairways hit. So we do like that. He's just not a bomber. He is an accurate driver. And on this course, that's not going to be too bad. He is T70 in ball striking, 57th in strokes gained total. He is 53rd in that long iron distance of 200 or more. So we do like that. He should be able to at least do well enough on the par threes. This course is set up where they got the long par threes where you have to just be able to, make a par in the long par threes. You can do what you want on the par fours. Hopefully, just get pars. And then on the par fives, that's where you take advantage if they have reachable par fives. So par threes, hopefully, again, even par fives, making birdies. And that's kind of how this sets up. That's why we're looking at that long iron distance and also that par five scoring. And then just overall, total putting is a stat that it was somewhat predictive between the last 2 times this event was played here. He is 36 in that, so we don't mind that. Nate Lashley in decent current form. Not a horrible value option this week if we have to go that low. All right, that's all I have for you guys this week. Please like to subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I will try to go live if we get some more news, if I kind of change my thought process a lot, because when an event like this isn't played here typically, some of the stats that we're looking at now might change based on how the course conditions are. We don't really know how they're going to try to set up the course exactly. Kind of just going off of the news that the PGA Tour has provided, what the course has provided, doing research that way, which you don't really know until the players get on there. So we'll try to watch some of the practice rounds and see what's going on there. But like I said, as always, guys, the week before a major and the week after a major, just be careful with your bank account or bankroll because it's a little bit more volatile. You don't know the mindset of the players, what they're actually trying to improve on that week before a major. Sometimes, there's certain parts of your game you go out around, you're like, I need to improve on this so I can, do well next time I go out. And I know some big name players will do that. So that's all I have for you guys. Please give me a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. And as always, let's keep cashing.